So we're on step 6, which is threading your chenille needle and knotting your thread. Again, this is basic instruction. If you've already got this down pat because you've been a lifelong sewer, or you have followed along from project 1, then you already know this and you can certainly skip these couple of steps. If not, I'll do my best to make it worth your time to watch this segment of the video. So steps 6, B, and C, threading your chenille needle and knotting your thread with the Southeastern Quilt and Textile Museum and myself, your stitching host, Laura Bosma, Pretty Penny Pre-Cuts. So in the previous video, step 6, 6A, we prepared the pearl cotton from hank to usable strands. And again, I'm opting for this yellow gold so that you can hopefully see what I'm doing when I start stitching on the sea turtle itself. You have a chenille needle. If you got the Floss and Notion kit, you got 5 or 6 in a size 24. And I believe I put a size 22, which is a slightly larger one, in the sea turtle kit proper. The bottom line here is thread the smallest needle that will do the job. So the analogy is don't use a nail when a pin will do. So keep it as small as possible. I like to thread the smallest chenille needle I can still thread successfully, and that's what I will hopefully do here. So you have a chenille needle. Again, it's got a very sharp point and an elongated eye. It is the type of needle that I choose to do this type of applique with. You may be more successful with another kind of needle. Go for it. It's not always my intent to reinvent the wheel or to teach you something new when you don't think you need that particular step. But for those that do, we'll go ahead and do that. So grab up your length of the pearl cotton thread. And what I like to do is I do like to wet it. So I'm going to use the water from our pressing stage. And I just smash it. Go from round to flat. I need that end to kind of stay together. Not be a scaredy cat tail, but kind of stay together and be flat. So that's the first thing that I do. And then the second thing I do, again, use a procedure that you know to use. Most people will say you're actually supposed to bring the needle to the thread. I'm not so good at that because I learned so young. I tend to bring the thread to the needle, but do what works and give it a shot. If you can't get it on the first try, you need to try again. If you need to, employ a needle threader. Now in your Floss and Notion kit, I included this one, and it's actually for flossing your teeth. So it's a threader for flossing teeth, but it works for threading needles. So if you need to employ this, by all means use it. And if possible, hopefully the flat end, meaning the single end, will go through the eye of the needle. Believe it or not, it's flatter than it looks, and you'll draw it, you'll draw it up until you've got it, basically centered or thus, so that you've got this straight edge on one side. Get over here in the field of vision. It's straight right here, and you've got the loop right here. I hope you can see that. And then if you have to employ it, you're going to drop your thread end through it. And I'm just going to turn it around a little bit for me. And then pull, but don't just yank. What I want you to do is literally, I want you to rock it back and forth until it comes through and you've got a single thread. So you're rocking it back and forth as you pull it through. Don't just pull, you may end up breaking it, and then you'll have to seek out a different type of needle threader. There are lots of gadgets for needle threading for people that maybe have vision problems or fine motor problems. You could certainly seek those out. So we've got a threaded chenille needle and we've got an end. I like to show you a quilter's knot because I call it a clean knot. It's a good looking knot. It's not a messy knot. I learned to tie a very messy knot, and I had a student, actually a Girl Scout, teach me this one, and she learned it from her grandmother. And this is a quilter's knot. This is the type of knot a quilter would use to pop through the top of a quilt as they actually put the quilting stitches that held all 3 layers. So what I want you to do is you want the needle parallel to your finger basically, and then you want to cross the thread over that. So you basically make a cross. And I'm holding that all in. I'm right-handed, so I'm holding that in my right hand if I can here. So you can see I've got a little bit of thread end. I've got the rest of the thread right here. I've got the needle point heading to the left. If you're left-handed, you do it the opposite way. And I've got the eye kind of inside my hand right here. I'm going to take this thread, there's a loop. Can you see that it's a loop? I'm going to grab it pretty close within about an inch of my thumb and index finger that's holding it. And counterclockwise, I'm going to wrap 1, 2. I'm just going to drag that down, so I'm pinching that. So right now I'm pinching needle, thread wraps, and thread end. And then I am going to hang on to that, and I'm going to simply pull the needle, the point of the needle. So let up a little bit of tension, but don't let go. And I'm going to just pull that to the sky, and I'm going to feel the needle go up under, and you can see it's going away. I'm threading, I'm pulling, get in the thread, get in the field of vision there, pulling, till that gets smaller, and then it'll form a knot right under my index and thumb, and that's when I know to let go. And so there's my knot. Again, I call that a clean knot. It's a pretty clean knot. If you need to, you know, cut this thread end off, leave about a 1/4 of an inch is all you need. So that, let's see, make sure I'm in the field here. Again, here's my clean knot. If you need to, cut this thread end so there's only about a 1/4 of an inch left. So I'll do that right now. And I'm just gonna nip that off. That becomes trash, I don't need that, but that's the knot that I would prefer to use. And the purpose of a knot is just so that when you put your thread from the back of the work to the front of the work, it doesn't come undone. It's as simple as that. So I hope that that was instructive. If you need to go on and look at some other YouTube videos that aren't mine, that is a-okay. Maybe you've got somebody that can show you how to do it in person. That's another great way to learn how to get your needle threaded and get a fairly decent knot, large enough that it won't pull through the work, but not so big and ugly that it, you know, looks messy on the back or would potentially show through as a lump or a bump in your project.